there's no way. I'm already so, still burning. So hold me close, now baby. I do what I'm told, still learning. To take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1,000,000 life, yeah. We could roll the dice. Act like you're surprised, but you already know. Oh yeah, got lucky overnight. Jackpot when I got the invite. Let me wrap my arms around you, cause I can't go home without you. And my heart just vibe with you, babe. Wanna go sky high with you, babe. Gotta bring you close to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. Cooler than cold, I'm all in. So load up the dice, so heavy. The way that you roll, I'm falling. So I never fall, I'm ready to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1,000,000 life, yeah. We could roll the dice. Act like you surprised, but you already know. You're my lucky strike, and I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. I can't let you go, there's no way. I'm already so, still burning. So hold me close, now baby. I do what I'm told, still learning. To take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1,000,000 life, yeah. We could roll the dice. Act like you're surprised, but you already know. Oh yeah, got lucky overnight. Jackpot when I got the invite. Let me wrap my arms around you, cause I can't go home without you. And my heart just vibe with you, babe. Wanna go sky high with you, babe. Gotta bring you close to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. Cooler than cold, I'm all in. So load up the dice, so heavy. The way that you roll, I'm falling. So I never fall, I'm ready to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1,000,000 life, yeah. We could roll the dice. Act like you surprised, but you already know. You're my lucky strike, and I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you. burning. So hold me close. Now, baby, I do what I'm told. Still learning to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line. Yeah, you got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing. You're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah. We could roll the dice.
Poker at checkout. Now they're letting me host the show today, but I'm only one man, and it takes a group, a gang, a village, a crew to make all the magic around here happen. And we call this group of wizards the Wrecking Crew. And if you want to learn more about me or the rest of the Wrecking Crew, you can go to rec.poker/crew, or you can just listen up right now because you're about to meet a few of them on the air, starting with Chris Jones.
Well, I'm Chris Jones. You can find me 5B5 on Blue Sky or 5x5 in the PokerStars home game.
My name is Joe Coolis. I'm sorry, my name is Joe Coolis, and you can find me at Joe Cool PhD, cool with a K, on Blue Sky, sometimes on Twitter, but decreasingly so. And I'm Alvida11 in the home game. And I'm responsible for the providing a description and an understanding of cognitive and psychological processes that impact your play on the poker field. I also want to tease a little bit of an announcement. One of the things that we've been putting together for the food bank is going to have a fundraiser very, very soon. And there are going to be many, many items that I think people will be very interested in bidding on. So please stay tuned. We're going to make that announcement very soon, and I think you'll be very happy with it.
All right. I'm pleased to be joined this week by Christin Maschmann. Thanks so much for coming on the RecPoker podcast. And if our audience didn't know you, how would you define your own role in the poker world?
Hello, and thanks for having me. I would say that I think it's a bit weird, but like saying I'm sort of also a poker industry dinosaur by now because I've been working in it for 17 years, but maybe something like a marketing poker industry expert.
Okay. All right. So um, I know that you gave us a little bit of background of what you do, and your current role is with GG Poker as a QA manager. And so the first question I had was, what does quality assurance at a poker event look like?
Yeah, so first of all, it started as doing it for GG Poker sponsored events, but now it turned into doing it for WSOP circuit events. So I'm actually now working for WSOP more than for GG, but I'm going to WSOP circuit events all around the world. And the main thing is obviously to see if the brand is displayed properly on the events, because it's obviously run by third parties. And so we want to make sure that WSOP looks representable at all the events. And then at the same time, obviously looking at if the players are having a good time, and that can go from anything. How comfortable are the chairs? How aggressive is the air conditioning? How good are the dealers, the floor people, floor staff? What are the food options? So all that kind of stuff goes into a big report and goes back to WSOP. And then we're using that to build some more intensified guidelines for the future.
Oh, I get it. I understand. So if the players are all sitting there and they're complaining because it's way too cold, that goes on a report and goes back to whoever's running the overall show, and then they then talk to future event holders to tell them what their expectations are.
Yeah, and there are certain things that if I notice there is an issue, I can also bring it up on location. Like usually I'm a bit more fly on the wall, but there are some things where I can say, hey, I'm hearing a lot of complaints about this, so can you fix that like right now? But it also goes in the report. So I even had to remove a floor man recently because it was just not up to the quality.
Oh, really? So there was a question for the floor, and he was unsure of how to handle it, or he handled it improperly in your regard. So
Exactly, and not following WSOP rules. So there were a lot of things that just added up, and I was like, we need the best person on this event and not one of the other guys. Yeah.
I see. That brings up a question that I had. There's the PDA rules, right? Everybody supposedly are following them, but certain poker rooms have their own rules. Now, coming in as a WSOP circuit event, are the venues expected to follow the TDA rules just like the WSOP would?
There are WSOP rules, and they are being shared with the organizer, so they are expected to follow them. Yes.
Okay. So if you had some strange local rule at a card room, that wouldn't come into play then if you're playing in a WSOP circuit event.
So let's say the example was that the floorman didn't break at two tables, like they didn't redraw at two tables, so they just broke a table and that was it. And that's WSOP rule is to do a redraw on two tables. So that moment I was a bit like, okay, they didn't read the WSOP rules, or they didn't get them. So I followed up on that, and it turns out they actually didn't receive them. So different issue. Or they had the anti-first rule still in place. But then I was told, yeah, they're going to change it in 1st of December to big blind first. So, stuff like that I notice on location. It's not like, usually it's not a big deal, but the not having a redraw at two tables is a bit of a big deal because it does change the dynamics quite a bit, and people could have had to.
Did we lose her?
We may have. She looks frozen
I
to me.
think, yep, I think we lost Kristen here for a minute. Hopefully she'll get,
We'll wait till she reconnects.
yeah, we'll see if she can get reconnected here.
I'm wanting to ask her, what's the most common poker player complaint?
Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
What's your guess?
At a WSOP circuit event?
I mean, do you think is it food related? Is it temperature related? Is it rules related? Is it what do you think?
I'm thinking it's rules related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what are expectations? Obviously it'd be nice to have good food, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
What do
mean,
you think?
I don't know. I mean, poker players can complain about a lot, so I mean, it could be temperature, could
Are
be
you saying we're whiners? Come on.
well,
Worse than golfers.
we we do have a little bit of that in us, that's for sure.
Ah, there she
Yeah.
is. She's back.
Sorry.
No, that's all
where
right.
did I get cut off?
No problem. Yeah, we were just asking. We had a question that we were talking about while you were reconnecting. What is the most common complaint that you get from poker players?
Oh, well, the thing is, I rarely actually get the feedback. I don't think there's a common one. No, I don't think so. There's sometimes players know that what I'm doing, and they come to me with some, they probably structure stuff. That tournaments are taking too long, so there need to be changes in the structures. I think that's probably the main one, I guess.
That's the biggest complaint that you personally get.
Yeah, so people actually come to me with, but that's the
Okay.
thing. Like, so if I'm in English-speaking countries, I can obviously just have my ears open and just listen to what people are complaining about. But I had the problem now that I was in Argentina and in Italy or in Brazil, and then I don't know what people are talking about. So if they don't come to me, I can only go by what I actually see is going wrong.
Okay. So you've been in the poker industry for many years. What do you love about your job, and what do you hate about your job?
Yeah, so I've been around now, almost 17 years. I was working in marketing and innovation at PokerStars for 11 years. And now I've been doing this I'm self-employed, so I have my own business. But GG Poker / WSOP is my main client. I think what I love most is now that I have the perfect job for me, which is because I am a nomad. I do not have a home. I travel full time. And I got this job specifically, basically tailor-made for me, which is the biggest compliment I could get after working so long in the industry. And I'm very grateful that Michael Kim from GG Poker gave me this opportunity. So this is just perfect for my lifestyle. And I love being at poker events. So that's obviously at the moment what I love the most. I guess what I don't like is that I've never managed to become a better poker player than I should have, because the first couple of years I was working for the poker school of PokerStars. So I had all the information and the smartest people and trainers and coaches right there. And I did not make enough of use of that, and actually became a better poker player myself. So that's probably what I hate in a way, because also my focus is a lot on the business side, and I can't focus on poker as much as I wanted.
So you can't play as much poker as you'd like to play, and you don't have enough time to study poker as you'd like to have.
That's it. Yeah. So for example, all these years I was working for PokerStars, I was not allowed to play on PokerStars, and now that I work for GG, I am not allowed to play on GG. So obviously I'm missing a lot of the interesting stuff that's happening online. And then when I'm at live events and I'm representing the brand, I can't, I would be allowed to actually play it because it helps me to really see the quality of an event.
Sure.
But I'm always worried that ends up being the event I win, and suddenly I win a WSOP ring, at a circuit, and that would just be really bad press. So I'm refraining from doing that usually.
Do you think there might be some thoughts of collusion or something if
Rigged,
you
yeah.
you want it. Yeah, you mentioned your nomad lifestyle. I got an email from you a couple weeks ago, and you were in Mexico City, and you went to Italy. Now you're in Thailand.
Yeah.
What? How do you? Where do you stay? I mean, are you hopping from hotel to hotel, or are there other times that you make other arrangements?
Yeah, that's basically that. So it depends. If I'm only for a couple of days in a place, then that's it. I have to take a hotel because traveling solo, an Airbnb is usually not cheaper than taking a hotel. And sometimes I even get breakfast. So here in this Bangkok hotel. So basically, I can give you an example. So basically, I had to travel from Italy to Sydney, where the next event is going to be. And I decided to go from Italy straight to Sydney and then spend this week in between in Sydney. But then I realized, hang on, that's quite expensive to stay in Sydney. And I saw that all the flights were going via Bangkok. So I decided just to stop here for 8 days and use a cheaper lifestyle for that time. And in this hotel, I have breakfast as well. And I think in US dollars for these 8 days, it was like $400 or something, or maybe 450. So that's a decision. And obviously, if I had been in Sydney, not just accommodation would have been more expensive, food would have been more expensive. But then when I come back from Sydney, I go back to Thailand for 6 weeks because there's no circuit event I have to go to, and then I have stuff that I work on online. I will go back to Thailand, but to an island, and there I'm taking an apartment for.
Okay. So it's that's quite the lifestyle. I know we've interviewed a very popular nomadic poker player by the name of Carlos Welp.
Oh yeah.
But he lived out of a Prius. So he did go to hotels occasionally, but he did live out of a Prius. So that's quite a bit different than your lifestyle where you're globe hopping. I mean, you're not staying just right. You're not staying just in the United States. You're going all over the world, week by week.
It has been a little much the last couple weeks because I was in Mexico City for a wedding of a poker player. I'm not sure if you know Adam Owen, like he's a mixed game specialist. So he was getting married in Mexico. So I was there, and then I went to the event in Argentina. Then I went back to Mexico to do Day of the Dead. Then I went to Italy for the event. Now I'm here. Then I go to Sydney. So I'm a little tired right now because October, November were quite heavy on this, to be honest. And the jet lag is real. When I got here, I had a double jet lag because I was still jet lagged when I was in Italy, and so I came here still jet lagged from that. And so it can be quite rough. But the good thing is I know I'm going to have this rest period in December.
Do you have a question there, Joe?
I have lots of questions, to be honest. So as a preparation for this interview, I actually read a book called Strip Mint, which I don't know if I did. I read almost the whole thing. I'm not, you say that there's no happy ending in the book multiple times, but I'm hoping at the very end that will be discussed. And your avoidance of Tim was a very smart move on your part. So one of the interesting things, though, from the book that I took was you're kind of in this weird realm. Like we talk a lot about being recreational players where we simply do it for recreation, right? Or there's the poker pros who do it and they're grinding away and they're really trying to make their living from it. Your book suggests you found this happy spot where you get to play poker at times, be involved in poker, and have it be your job, but not have to make money from the tables. What's that like? And as follow-up question is, how is that? Because your book is about Vegas, right? You take on a nice tour of all the different locations and many of the adventures, which are it's a great book. I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of it, and I read it and I was like, this. How's it been now that you're doing things more internationally, where you're traveling to different sites? Are you getting the same sorts of? Are we going to get a WorldNet book now that's going to talk about your experiences?
Well, yeah, so basically to explain, I think I didn't actually send that information when I sent you the brief, so sorry about that. So I did also publish a book, self-published on Amazon. It's called StripNet, and knit on the strip in Vegas. So the idea was I had all these blogs that I wrote about my Vegas experiences. I decided to put it all into one place and make a book out of it. And it just follows my real-time experiences that I had when I was in Vegas, and also a bit about how I got into the poker industry. So that's what the book is about. And yeah, I did actually have a little bit of a series on poker player lifestyle online, the Robbie's website, where I had a bit of Euro-knit, where I talked about my experiences working and traveling the European circuit. So there's some stories of me in Monte Carlo playing poker, not having enough money, and then living off bar peanuts and like welcome desk chocolates and stuff like that. So
is that better than hot dogs?
It's like I literally, it was embarrassing. As I had at one point, I was wearing some very cheap $5 ballerinas, and they were so worn out that my toe was sticking through like the front, and I was walking around Monte Carlo like that. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I'm living this really weird lifestyle where I stay in these 4-star, 5-star hotels in Monte Carlo, but I'm not that person. So it's quite fun, those stories. And yeah, I tried a little bit with Robbie. I had that idea, that project with him on his website. I do document everything I do. So this is a bit of a plug maybe on social media. So I do, for a year now, I have been producing weekly vlogs of my life, what I'm experiencing. But I've only edited about 3 of them because it takes so much time. And now I took some money in my hand and actually hired somebody to edit them. So from 1st of December, on TikTok though, I will publish these vlogs, and they're gonna be 2 a week, and they are weekly vlogs, and they include the time that I was in Brazil, went to the carnival after a week of work. Then I went for my birthday to Machu Picchu. Then all the Vegas weeks, everything is being documented. And I'm trying to also get the stuff on YouTube, but it's so my YouTube channel, I did do vlogs in the past on my YouTube channel, but I did never get enough views there. So I gave up on YouTube basically, and on TikTok at least I get a couple hundred, while on YouTube sometimes I get just 3 dozen views, and it's just after the work you put in, it's just not something I wanted to continue. But I'm trying to also get these vlogs on YouTube, and just basically I like documenting it, and I feel like if I'm experiencing all that stuff and I'm not sharing it, that would be super selfish. So I like sharing my experiences.
I do have another follow-up question, so I'm a clinical neuropsychologist, and one of the things that you kind of, I don't think I'm saying anything out of turn because it's in your book. So I apologize if you don't want people to know this, but it's in the book. So you have MS, multiple sclerosis. Yes. How does that impact your ability to play? Because multiple sclerosis oftentimes creates fatigue, attention and concentration problems, depending. And one of the interesting things I found is heat is often a problem, and you love Vegas. So I was kind of like, well, how's that all working? So how does it impact your game? Because some of our members probably suffer from the same problem and wonder if they can be a poker player given that diagnosis.
Yeah, so maybe first of all, I am quite lucky, touch wood, that I haven't been affected much in general. So I was diagnosed in 2004, so that's like 20 years now. And I had a bad relapse right in the beginning where I didn't know if this is going to be my life now, where the right side of my body was basically paralyzed and I couldn't move anymore. Luckily, it all came back, but there were always some issues. And it was always that I could pinpointed back at stress, like when I was stressed. So what I always thought was that, because I always knew I didn't want to work in corporate, I wanted to be self-employed, but I wanted to have the safety of working in corporate. Right? So all this time I was working in corporate with the poker stars, I always had some issues from time to time, like where my eyes went or my balance went or had numbness. The fatigue is always an issue, and obviously it doesn't help when you travel a lot. But it was very frustrating until I actually left full-time employment and had suddenly the freedom of being self-employed and being location independent. I didn't have any more problems. So it's absolutely mental to think about that since I left full-time employment, the safety of full-time employment, and that freedom was all the time more important for me. It's the more important factor. So since then, I almost have no issues other than a bit of the fatigue. But I've learned to just say no a lot. So if people want me to do stuff and I just don't have the energy, I said, I don't have the energy, and I go to bed. And that's, so I've become very, very good at that, to just say no. I have a bit of a story there where I was playing a 500 euro tournament, Omaha 8 tournament in Monte Carlo. And suddenly my eyes went, so I couldn't see the cards anymore. So I just pretended that I was looking at the cards and just kept folding. And I was like, what am I doing now? Because like if I stand up, I was worried that I just fall over, because maybe like the balance is an issue as well. So I started ordering beer because I know that calms me down. But a beer in Monte Carlo is, I mean, you know, in Canada and the US, it's now very expensive as well. But at the time, it was a lot of money for a little beer. So it was quite stressful having to pay for the beer. But I was like, I know it's going to calm me down. And then I had a whole thing that there was a poker player that I had matched on Tinder with a while before, and he just got placed right opposite of me. And I was like, no, not now. And I was like, I couldn't see, and it was a whole stressful experience. But then after a couple of beers, and he actually bought me a beer, it all started ending up being like very relaxed and fun again. But those things did happen, and the weird thing is they don't happen anymore since I have the freedom of being my own boss.
Well, it's fantastic to hear. I will say for the studio audience, beer is not typically known as a treatment for MS symptoms. I mean, it may work for some individuals. I wouldn't try that primarily.
Some people have other solutions to calm themselves down, but for me, like sometimes, also this, I'm a whiskey girl, so sometimes it's that as well, to just take the edge a little off.
Yeah. No. I just don't want people to be like, beer. No. It's a good choice for treatment. Well, thank you so much for being, I do encourage anybody that has an opportunity to go read the book. It's great. It's a nice little tour guide. If you've never been to Vegas, I was on my first trip to Vegas was this year. And so being able to read your book and kind of saying, oh, yeah, I kind of had some of the same experience, not all the same experiences. I just want to be clear. But
that's the thing. It's like it's a different approach. Like, so a lot of people, they don't know what it's like as a woman to be in this world and actually play poker and sit at the table and the stuff you have to sometimes endure and the experiences you have as a woman and all this. So I think it's probably quite interesting for some people to read, and I don't think it's very centered and self-published. I'm happy for anybody to read it because I like to share my story.
It's absolutely worth it. So thanks for sharing. Appreciate it.
I'd like to reach out to our audience right now, and remember that if you have any questions for our guests, you can enter them into the YouTube chat. You'll have a chance later in the show to win a prize as part of our raffle to support food banks around the world. So super chat donations will be shared with a food bank, and you can add some poker players' names for this week's Stake Study Stack. So we know that Rick Jones will be leading our Stake Study Stack a little later, and we need some names. I got a personal question here. How'd you meet Jim anyway?
It was super random. I was working at WCP last. So the thing is I do the circuit events for quality assurance. They don't need me at like the Vegas event or the Bahamas event because it's run by WCP itself. They don't need me to do quality assurance. So in Vegas, I'm on my own cost every year, and if I'm there, I sometimes offer some help, with content creation or something. Because I'm actually, my profession is video producer, so media producer, basically, content creator, if you want to call it that. So I often offer, hey, I'm here anyway, and I could offset some of the hotel costs or food costs or something. So that's what I'm doing. And I offered the German GG poker team, I can help them with content. So I was walking around the tournament area, creating some social media content for them, and then in return I get, the expenses taken care of for those days I'm working. And I was doing some content because at a specific table there was the German player to take fast. and Jim was sitting at the table, so I was taking some pictures of it. And then Jim picked a conversation with me, and then immediately we talked about the podcast, and that it might be interesting for me to be a guest there. And yeah, it was very, very quick, just in between hands. I think it was on the bubble as well, so it was quite interesting.
That sounds like Jim. That sounds like our boy Jim. He's never been shy, that's for sure. Now I was looking over your Hendon mob, and like you mentioned in your short bio to us, you have many flags on that Hendon mob, and obviously because of your lifestyle, your nomadic lifestyle, you're all around the world, all over the place, playing in different events. And I also noticed that you play very many different variants of poker. What is your favorite variant and why?
I have to be very boring there, and it's still No Limit Hold'em. That is probably my favorite, but the second very close is Omaha 8. I do enjoy that a lot. I do like. I know it sounds so nitty and whatever, but it's like I like the split game aspect. So I do like the stud 8 as well. I sometimes play, but there's too many streaks for me. So I do prefer 08 as my second game, but there's obviously not a lot of chances to play it, so it's like usually when I'm in Vegas, I play a lot of mixed games, but otherwise you're just stuck with Hold'em. And my thinking is always like, if I want to put the work in and actually do study, if I study Hold'em, I will make just a little dent, when it in comparison to the field. But if I actually put the work in and study mixed games, I can make a big leap and actually become quite good at this stuff compared to the field and have results. And that has worked for me. So I did put more work into studying mixed games, and I have a lot of crazy variant caches all around the world, and that makes me very happy. So I'm pretty proud, and I think I have some kind of a record on Hendon Mob. I'm trying to verify that with the guys at Hendon Mob, because just looking at 13 flags, that caches in 13 different countries, and probably, if you want to call it like that, 16 variations of poker. If you count like ladies event as well as a variation, and like that. I think I'm probably having a record there of sorts in like the variety of caches. And if not with like in all of them, then amongst the women, I'm pretty sure I have some kind of record. So I'm trying to verify that and make a big deal of that.
Do you have something, Chris?
Yeah, we've got a question here from our YouTube chat, Christin. John writes in saying, as someone identifies who also lives with some disabilities, and he's wondering if you've had any success or luck sort of finding accommodations during tournaments, and what, if any, accommodations do you believe like tournaments should provide for people with disabilities?
Well, it's interesting. Like I've been around now a while as well, so I've seen obviously a lot of issues that can arise for players. And for example, we had another thing I've seen before, but now in Italy, there was a player who was not having good eyesight, so he always had to sit in seat 5, and he had a magnifying glass and everything to really make sure that he can see the cards. And it's obviously it has a bit of problems with the integrity of the game to actually place a player in a specific spot, but I am quite happy that this is something it is being accommodated, and it's not something that I hear other poker players complain about and get angry about if this is happening. I also, for example, played with a completely blind player before. His name is Hal. I think he's quite known, like in Vegas circuit. And he was sitting right next to me, and he had a friend with him who talked to him the whole time what the action is, like seat 1 raise, so seat 2 call. And it got really irritating. But obviously, I don't want to be the person saying something because it just irritated me having this voice the whole time. But it's just knowing that basically anybody can play, and it's being made possible for anybody is incredible. And I'm not sure, because like I've seen really a lot of help for players in wheelchairs as well, that it's always being accommodated. I have to say I haven't really seen anything that I would improve at this point because I feel like it's been taken care of and the players are quite understanding as well.
So actually, I have a follow up with that. With the player, I've never seen that happen where a player needs a certain seat, and in a tournament, obviously seats sort of matter. Do you actually like take the table and sort of shift it around the orbit to make, like, if they got the 1 seat on their card and they show up and they need the 5 seat, does the 5 seat become the 1 seat and everybody sort of shifts around, or how does a tournament
No, so I've only
accommodate
seen
that?
it. Yeah, I've only seen it that way, that they basically swap that player out and just put them next to it's. You're right. It should really be like this, like rotating thing, but I've never seen that happen. And that's what I mean. It's like it's something integrity wise that could be an issue, but
Mhm.
I've never heard a player actually complain about it. And yeah, I've heard floor people tell me this is something they do. This is the only thing, the only moment where they do that they give a player a specific seat, obviously.
Yeah, I've actually experienced that before in a tournament I played in. I was at my table and a guy said, "Well, I can't sit here. I have to sit in seat 5 because I have such bad eyesight." And I was surprised, tell you the truth, but it happened very smoothly. They said, "Oh, no problem." They swapped the players out and everything proceeded as normal after that. So it was the first time I'd ever seen that, and I was very impressed with the way they handled it, and nobody seemed to complain. So
That's it. I think once the players start complaining, then we're having an issue. But as long as everybody is like, you know what, it's fine, then we're all fine, I guess.
yeah, I don't think it makes that big a difference. Because it's random anyway, right? The random seat assignments are random to start with, so yeah, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. So, who's one of your heroes?
It has to be Daniel.
I got a
Negreanu,
smile out of you there.
yeah. It's just you have to, like, it was when 2006 I learned how to play Texas Hold'em. 2007 I started really googling and how can you do this and how can you play, and all the person who just kept showing up was Daniel Negreanu. And so I wanted to, when I saw how he was playing, I wanted to learn how he is playing, right? So he's funny, he's like talkative, he's out there, and it's not like those hoodie wearing, headphone wearing, sunglasses wearing poker players. And I was like, I don't want to be that. I want to be what Daniel is, right? So I tried to really learn how he's playing, and he was the person that basically he was at a European Poker Tour event in Dortmund, and I know that he was going to come, and that's where I offered my help to work because I wanted to meet him, right? So I offered to work at the event, and in the end I got the chance, and I thought I was going to hand out flyers at the poker school desk, but they wanted me to interview players, and I ended up interviewing Daniel Negreanu, and that was February 2008. And that interview went perfect because he's just so easy to interview. He knows exactly what I'm going at, and he knows exactly what to say. So that interview ended up being perfect, and that was the reason I, in the end, got the offer to work for the Poker School of Poker Stars, and that kicked everything off. And now he's also at GG, and I'm at GG. So now when I see him, I don't think he knows my name or what I do, but every time he sees me, I get the little nod. And that's already, so he's still a hero for me because I always wanted to emulate how his playing style is.
So he started out to be your hero before you even were somebody who worked in poker. And then you volunteered to work at a poker tournament for the opportunity to meet Daniel. And then you did that, and all of a sudden now it's been your profession for 17 years. That's an amazing story.
Right?
That's an amazing story. That's very
a proper
cool.
Hero.
That is very, very cool. So do we have any more questions from our audience in YouTube?
Not right in the moment.
Did have one, evidently one of our members has been a member at RecPoker for many, many years. Stuart Carriage says he had the pleasure of meeting you Oh, so you do know Stuart.
Yeah,
He
we're friends on
claims he
Facebook.
met you. So
Yeah,
he's
we're
in
friends.
the
I hung out with a bunch of the Canadians, especially the women. You know, like you probably know them all as well, Elizabeth, Kim, and Jean.
Kim Kilroy and Elizabeth
Exactly.
Van
So,
Martin. Yep.
so yeah, a lot
Okay.
of the especially the women, obviously, like we're I wouldn't say tight knit, but we meet again and again all over the world in ladies events and other events, and we hang out because there's not many of us. So if I play, I hang out with a lot of them. And Stuart was part. I think Stuart was there as well when I celebrated my birthday with the girls in Toronto. So that was pretty nice.
Very cool. Very cool. So there is some symmetry here between you and RecPoker already. It looks like.
Oh,
So
I'm honestly,
that's great.
I'm having a really nice network in the poker world that I'm very proud of. I never, like when I started my own business, I never had to advertise or anything. I just called up a couple of people, hey, do you need help with anything? And in the end, this is how I got to meet Michael Kim of GG Poker and got this job as well. So I'm very proud of my network that I have in poker.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Do we have some names for Stake Study Stack, Chris?
Yeah, I do. So we're gonna shift over into our stake study stack game here, Kristen. Um, I'm gonna give you three names. You're gonna choose one who you would like to stake in a poker tournament or cash game, one that you would like to study with, and one that you would take some joy out of stacking them at the table. Um, and given your, I don't think we've ever asked about German players, and given your German background, I decided that I'm going to ask you about three of the German giants. So your names are Christoph Vogelsang, Fedor Holz, or Karai Aldemir.
All right. Okay. Okay, so the thing I think the easiest is probably study is Fedor Holz because he has a studying platform with Poker Code. He knows how to explain stuff because I've done this before with a big German poker player who owed me a favor to get like a 2-hour coaching, and he had no idea how to bring stuff across, and I felt like the biggest idiot, and I thought I'm going to quit poker forever. But Fedor is going to be definitely the study guy. Yeah, I'm sorry, but like Vogelsang, because of his weird behavior at the table, he's like the guy I want to stack. And then Korai, I'm gonna stake.
Love it.
Very,
Great.
very good. Very good. I love it. All right, now we're going to go to our speed round. This is where we call it closing the action. And we're going to give you a bunch of quick questions. We're going to ask for a quick answer. And if you don't want to answer it or you can't answer it, you can go ahead and say pass. So here we go. I don't have the soundboard like our leader Jim does, so we're not going to get that annoying ticking sound. We're just going to go we're just going to go raw here. All right. Favorite poker hand?
Aces.
All right. Is poker a gamble or a skill game?
Skill game.
All right. What's your biggest poker pet peeve?
Oh, that's probably a lot. When people are, it's just a general pet peeve, and it's at the table as well. If people are listening to stuff on their phone on speaker, that's just something that drives me nuts.
Okay. Now I don't know if this relates to you because of your German background, but is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
It's not a Christmas movie.
Not a Christmas. Okay. All right. Is Ace King a drawing hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Should vacations be lazy or busy?
That's busy.
I was going to say, I mean, with your lifestyle, it's almost like, you're always on almost on the vacation all the time.
I can but that's not the case. I'm actually like always busy. It's like I cannot be just for hours at the beach and do nothing. That's driving me crazy. I always have to keep busy. And if I go to the beach, it has to have a purpose. It's not like I'm not just there for 4 hours and just not doing anything.
So vacations don't exist in your world.
No, not really. It's like woven into my lifestyle, I guess, but it's not.
There you go. There you go. I love it. What is your favorite poker venue?
The Wynn in Las Vegas.
That's amazing. Everybody says the Wynn. And I'm thinking your experience of traveling all over the world, you might come up with a different one, but nope, you came up with the Wynn.
Everything is perfect at the Wynn. It's something I've never seen, and especially because I do, not just now that I do the job as a quality assurance and having an eye for quality, and it's just every single aspect is perfect. I've never seen it.
Well, I think your recommendation probably tops all of the others because you are a quality assurance person in poker. So I've definitely got to make sure I get to the Wynn. All right. Who is one player you respect?
Okay, let's just say Christin Fox. Christin Fox, and because now she's also been inducted to the Women Poker Hall of Fame, and it's not easy to succeed in such a long time in a very male-dominated area, and she just keeps blowing our minds with the successes she's having. Obviously, we all wanted her to make the final table at the main event this year, but she's gonna make it at some point. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, a lot of respect for her.
Yeah, I agree. Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much driving you actually do, but if you're coming up to a yellow light, do you slow down or do you speed up?
I give a poker answer. It depends. I do a lot of driving. Actually, I did drive in now 19 countries with either cars or here in Thailand. I don't have a car usually. I have a little motorbike. But yeah, it depends. Like I'm usually somebody because I learned driving in Germany, so we learned to drive fast and efficient. So usually I would go through, but it depends. Like I had it before that I wanted to speed through, and then suddenly the car in front of me decided not to do that anymore, and then they stopped, and then I just bumped them in the back. So that happened.
So you have to adjust to the country you're in then. So if you were in Germany, you would be speeding up. In some other countries, you may slow down. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you pro chop or no chop at the final table?
Oh, I'm a recreational player, so I'm absolutely happy to do whatever deal comes up. If I feel like, because usually I don't have an edge when it gets so deep in a tournament. So if a chop is offered, I'm usually always up for it.
Okay. Who is your favorite musical artist?
I'm gonna reach back a little bit because I don't think I have a favorite right now. So in the past, it has been a New York-based metal band, I would say, called Life of Agony. And there's actually an interesting thing that I have to quickly tell because they are the guys. Because of the forum of fans of that band, that's the reason why I went to New York in 2006. And those guys that were also fans of that band, they taught me how to play saxophone. So in the end, it all has its origin in that band as well.
All right. One last question. Who is your poker nemesis? If you have one.
I don't know. No, I don't have a nemesis, I think. But there were moments when I was just very frustrated to find a player at my table that I really didn't want to have that. And you will understand because we're sort of friends. But like he's the very first time I sat in a satellite for the Irish Open in Dublin, and at my table was Will Pursuit. And that was even before his Vegas drama thing. But he was already known for being very obnoxious and annoying. And I sat down and was like, no, and that he ended up knowing me, which freaked me out even more because in Europe as well, I'm quite a known poker person just in general. So he knew who I was, and I was like, I don't want him to know who I am. So that was just something, and I was then, and he's very loud, and so I was like having these conversations with him that I didn't want to be in. And it was all very like on spotlight basically. So it's not a nemesis, but it's like certain players that put me more in the spotlight that I want to, and he's one of them.
Okay, very good. Do you have something, Joe?
Oh, I just wanted to. I'll say it later, just when when Kristen's about to go. So
Okay. Well, I don't have any more questions for her. But if our audience would like to get to know you better, what would be the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, that's great. So I just wanted to like point that out again as well, because I am documenting everything that I'm doing, and I'm very active on social media. So I just ditched, for obvious reasons, I ditched Twitter, but I wasn't really very active anyway. That wasn't like my platform. My platform is Instagram mainly, and I do a lot of stuff on TikTok as well. So my brand name is called Nice and Sunny. So you can find me basically everywhere on all the platforms as Nice and Sunny, also on YouTube. And you can get in touch with me very easily anywhere on those platforms. And yeah, again, like I would really love more followers to see like all these amazing experiences I'm having. And I'm calling myself a nomad in the poker world on all those channels. So you will have travel, you will have food, you will have poker, and all my content.
All right. Well, we'll definitely put that into the show notes so that people can get.
To all the people in the audience, I would give her a follower. And Kristen, the thing I wanted to say is, may the weird things keep happening to you, because they're great. They're great stories.
Yeah,
I
love the weird things.
Definitely some great stories. It was fantastic talking to you, Kristen. Thanks so much for coming on the show. And now we're going to go to do that boring stuff that we do at the end of every show. So you're free to go. And thank you so much for coming on. It was great.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. Like anytime again, if you ever want to have me again, always open for it. So thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. I'd like to invite our viewers to start typing food bank into the YouTube chat for your opportunity to win a free month at pokercoaching.com. You never know who's suffering from food insecurity in your community. And so we encourage you to Google food banks near me and give a donation to your local food bank. And let's thank pokercoaching.com for supporting our efforts. Remember, if you're not a lucky winner this week, you can still take advantage of the pokercoaching.com Black Friday sale, which is starting November 20th. The sale lasts through December 1st. So, you're probably anxious to get on poker coaching right away, but wait till Wednesday because that's when their big sale is happening, their big Black Friday sale. And we'll put a link in our show notes so that you can go there. Or you can go to our social media accounts and you should start seeing social media posts with that Black Friday sale link in it. So look for that starting on Wednesday. Now we're going to ask John Somsky to unmute. Oh, looks like he already has. And we'll get his pronunciation skills engaged and give us a rundown of our home game winners for the past week.
Well, first, I just wanted to clarify. You said that this was the boring part of the podcast. and for our guests who are not members of our home games, that is probably true. But hopefully everyone out there is just sitting on the edge of their seat, hoping to hear these announcements as we go along. On November...
I'm always waiting for a tough name. Like I'm just on the edge of my seat waiting for like Snorfblatt 9274 that you just can't possibly figure out how to pronounce.
Yeah,
and I stand corrected, John. I stand corrected. You are exactly right.
So on November 13th, MN Ted, Phil Fuhrer, got his first mixed victory for the year. That's his 5th nighttime mixed victory. Apple O My Eye, Harold Berry still has a 20-point lead in the POY points race for the Mixed Game Championship Series. For our daily series TOC on Monday, November 11th, we had that. That's the Tournament of Champions for everyone who won a home game in September for our daily series. And Duck and Run 99, Michael Savage got his 2nd lifetime TOC victory. That's pretty impressive. E. Anderson, 85, Eric Anderson got his 11th nightly victory for the year. Stewie 13, Stuart Carriage got his 7th nightly victory for the year. Ship and Flip rep Luke O'Driscoll got his 4th nightly victory for the year. Then Stewie 13, Stuart Carriage got his 8th nightly victory for the year. And then PetVet 33, Kim Kilroy got her 7th nightly victory for the year. So of those 5 tournaments for the nightly events, 3 of them were won by the Poker Friends Forever group between Stewie and Kim. Pretty impressive.
Wow.
That is impressive.
Gibber 3, Jim Gibson got his 2nd international victory for the year.
Gibber.
Mike B 172, Mike Bayer got his 4th international victory for the year. And Chatty Cat 2222, that's 3 2s, won the LPP event. So she can contact info@rec.poker for her free month at Learn Pro Poker. And actually, I don't know if it's a he or a her. I'm just assuming Chatty Cat sounds like a female name, so apologies if that is in any way mistaken.
All right. Thanks, John. And one other thing, I did finally tabulate the October ROI results. So here we go. For October, our number 1 ROI premium member was E-Chip. And his name is Charles Allen. We all know and love him as Charles Allen. And he was our number 1. And our number 2 happened to be a Wrecking Crew member. And that would be Elvita 11.
Whoa.
Now, again, I don't know how this keeps happening, but he keeps showing up in the
I know. It's
our
very
Wrecking Crew
impressive.
guys. Yeah, our Wrecking Crew guys kind of tend to get in there quite a bit. So kudos to them. Second of the premium members was Larson's Opening. Third in the premium members is Killy 19341. Then we had Stewie 13, one of the BFFs from Canada. And then Max Chaos 2112.
Here we go.
I'd like to get a shout out to Killy 19341. He is the only person that has been in the top all the last 3 months. So he made it in the top of the ROI in August. He made it in the top of the ROI in September and in October. Now he's Rich Deakins, great guy. He partakes in a lot of the training that we have going on here at RecPoker, and you can see that it's working. He's killing it in the home game. So keep it up, Rich. Doing a great job.
Not only that, but he also gives great tours in Alaska when your cruise stops at his port.
So did you meet him then while you were in Alaska?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Nice. Yeah, he lives in Juneau, Alaska. Juneau, as you know, is the capital of Alaska. And so he's actually one time zone, or now it's 2 time zones farther away than I am. And I thought I was in a bad time zone. He's like way out there. Kind of like our guy Ben Enslow on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
He's earlier than Eastern time.
I don't even know what that time zone is called out in Juneau. I know it's Atlantic time where Ben's in, but I don't even know what that Juneau one's called. But it's that's far away.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Anything else to go over other than our food bank drawing?
Yeah, I don't think so. We've got 4 names I'm seeing. I'm seeing John Doe 1, JD Malay 2, Midwest 1811 3 and K Poker Wannabe 4. And so rolling away, it is a 2. So that means it's to JD Malay.
Okay. You can email info@rec.poker and claim your free month of pokercoaching.com. So, do we have anything else?
Just watch the socials for the announcement with regards to the lovely, wonderful, one-of-a-kind items that you or people in your life may be able to purchase on your behalf for you. It's going to come up soon.
All right, that sounds exciting. Also, I wanted just to give a shout out that starting in December, we are going to do our Nice and Naughty promotion again. So you can actually get a month of your first month of Rec Poker for $1 starting December 1st by putting in the code NICE. So keep that in mind for anybody that's thinking about joining our Rec Poker. And if there's nothing else, then I think I'm going to cue the music. And I want to say thanks to the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, our guest, Christin Maschmann, our Wrecking Crew members, John, Chris, Joe, and you, the audience. We'll see you next week on the Rec Poker Podcast.